Imagine you are sitting in your home, the clock ticking softly in the background. The house is quiet, too quiet. The people you once surrounded yourself with are no longer there. Friends have drifted away. Family is busy with their own lives. And the calls you once received so frequently have slowed to a trickle. The silence feels heavier with each passing day. You reach for your phone, but there's no one to call. You step outside, but the world moves past you, unaware of the loneliness you carry. Have you ever wondered what it truly means to grow old alone? Is it possible to find peace and contentment without the presence of close family or lifelong companions? Or does solitude inevitably lead to sadness and regret? Every day, millions of people face this reality. Some accept it, some fear it, and others try to fight against it. But the hard truth is that aging alone is not just about physical isolation. It's about the emotional and mental journey that comes with it. How do we prepare for a life where we may have no one to lean on? Can we find happiness even when the world seems to have moved on without us? Think about this. A person spends their whole life chasing relationships, building friendships, and forming attachments. But in the end, they still find themselves alone. Is there a way to change our perspective so that solitude does not feel like suffering? Welcome to Stoic Journey, a channel where we explore the deepest truths of life through wisdom, philosophy, and self-discovery. Before we dive into this eye-opening discussion, take a moment to support the channel. There are so many views on this channel, but only 0.2% of people subscribe. If you find value in our content, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us bring more meaningful conversations to you. And don't forget to drop your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear your perspective. Aging alone is often painted as a tragic fate, but Buddhism offers a different way to look at it. Instead of resisting the reality of solitude, Buddhism teaches us to embrace it. The core idea of impermanence reminds us that everything changes: our relationships, our circumstances, and even our own sense of self. By accepting this, we can free ourselves from the fear of being alone. The problem is, most people resist change. We cling to relationships, memories, and expectations, believing they will last forever. But what if we could shift our mindset? Instead of seeing aging alone as a curse, what if we saw it as an opportunity to grow, to understand ourselves more deeply, and to find a kind of peace that is not dependent on anyone else? Buddhism teaches that suffering comes from attachment. The more we hold on to the past, the more pain we create for ourselves. But by practicing detachment, not in a cold or distant way, but in a way that allows us to appreciate each moment as it comes, we can experience true freedom. Solitude, then, is not something to fear. It is a space where we can reflect, heal, and discover our inner strength. In today's world, we are conditioned to believe that happiness comes from external sources: companionship, social validation, and constant engagement. But what if real happiness is found in stillness, in learning to be comfortable with ourselves? As we explore this journey together, we will uncover how Buddhist wisdom can help us transform loneliness into liberation. Instead of dreading solitude, we will learn how to embrace it. Instead of fearing the future, we will understand how to prepare for it with wisdom and grace. Aging alone is not the end. It can be a new beginning. And in the next part, we'll dive deeper into why the fear of loneliness holds such power over us and how we can start breaking free from it. Stay with us on this journey, because the truth about aging alone is not what you think. The fear of loneliness, why we dread growing old alone. Come closer, my friend. Sit with me for a while. Let us talk about something that lingers in the back of your mind, but rarely finds its way into words. The fear of being alone. The fear of growing old with no one by your side. It is a fear that whispers in the silence of the night, in the quiet moments when no one is calling, when there is no message to check, when you realize the world moves on, with or without you. This fear is real. It is not something to be dismissed or pushed away. It is a shadow that follows many people, a thought that grows heavier as time passes. But tell me, have you ever asked yourself why? Why does loneliness scare us so much? Perhaps you think, I do not want to be forgotten. Or maybe, I do not want to suffer alone. You see people around you, families laughing together, couples walking hand in hand, friends lost in conversation, and you wonder, will I have that when I am older? Or will I be sitting alone, waiting for a visitor who never comes? The truth is, society has taught us to fear loneliness. From a young age, we are told that a good life is one filled with people, companions, family, friends. If we are alone, something must be wrong. But is that true? Or is it simply a belief we have accepted without question? Let me tell you a story. There was once an old man who lived in a small village. When he was younger, he had many friends. His house was always full of laughter and conversation. But as the years went by, his friends moved away, some passed on, and his house grew quiet. The people in the village would see him sitting alone under a tree, gazing at the sky. They pitied him. One day, a young man approached the old man and asked, "Don't you feel lonely?" The old man smiled. "Lonely? No. I have the sky to talk to, the wind to listen to, the birds to remind me of the beauty of life." The young man was confused. "But you have no one to share your days with." The old man laughed gently. "I have myself. And in knowing myself, I have found more company than I ever did in a crowded room." You see, loneliness is not simply the absence of people. It is the absence of connection. But that connection does not always have to come from others. It can come from within. It can come from understanding that you are enough as you are. Many people fear growing old alone because they believe solitude means suffering. But Buddhism teaches us that suffering does not come from being alone. It comes from our resistance to being alone. If we see solitude as a punishment, it will feel like one. If we see it as an opportunity, it transforms into something else entirely. Think about it. How often do we fill our days with distractions? We surround ourselves with noise, with endless scrolling, with conversations that are empty of meaning, all to avoid sitting in silence with ourselves. Why? Because silence forces us to face our own thoughts. And for many, that is a frightening thing. But what if we learn to sit with ourselves, to find comfort in our own presence? What if, instead of fearing loneliness, we embraced it as a teacher? Because loneliness, when looked at with wisdom, has much to teach us. It teaches us that attachment is temporary. The people in our lives come and go, just as the seasons change. Clinging to the idea that things must always stay the same only brings pain. It teaches us that we are stronger than we think, that we do not need constant validation from others to feel worthy, that our existence is not defined by who surrounds us, but by how we live, how we think, how we grow. And most importantly, it teaches us that there is peace in stillness. When we stop running from loneliness, we begin to see it for what it truly is, not an enemy, but a doorway. A doorway to self-discovery, a doorway to freedom. But I will not lie to you. This path is not easy. It takes time. It takes patience. It takes a willingness to sit with discomfort, to face the thoughts we have avoided for so long. Yet, if you take that first step, if you allow yourself to lean into the silence instead of running from it, something incredible happens. You begin to see that you are not alone. Not really. You are connected to the world, to nature, to the breath that rises and falls within you. The fear of loneliness is not about being alone. It is about believing that we need something outside of ourselves to be complete. But what if I told you that you are already complete? What if I told you that solitude could be a gift, a chance to find a deeper connection with yourself and the world around you? You do not have to be afraid. You do not have to live in fear of the future. What matters is not whether you have people around you, but how you choose to see your own existence. So, tell me, my friend, will you continue to fear loneliness? Or will you take a deep breath, sit with it, and listen to what it has to say? The Buddhist perspective on impermanence and aging. Sit with me for a moment. Take a deep breath. Feel the air moving in and out of your body. Do you notice it? That breath you just took is already gone. The next one is waiting, and the one after that. This is life, always moving, always changing. Everything around us is temporary. The sun rises, then it sets. The seasons change, flowers bloom, then wither away. A child is born, grows up, and one day grows old. Nothing stays the same. Nothing lasts forever. This is the truth of impermanence. But we forget this truth. We want things to last. We hold on to people, to places, to moments in time, hoping they will never change. We convince ourselves that life should always stay the way we want it to be. But then, one day, we wake up, and the world is different. Friends are gone. Family has drifted. Our own reflection in the mirror has changed. And we ask ourselves, how did this happen? Aging is not a mistake. It is not a punishment. It is simply part of life's flow. A river does not stop when it reaches a bend. It keeps moving. The wind does not hold on to the leaves it carries. It lets them go. In the same way, we must learn to move with life, not against it. Many people fear aging because they see it as a loss of youth, of strength, of companionship. But what if aging is not about losing? What if it is about gaining something deeper? Buddhism teaches us that impermanence is not something to resist. It is something to understand, to accept, and through that acceptance, we find peace. If we cling to the past, we suffer. If we fight against change, we feel pain. But if we open our hearts to the reality that nothing lasts forever, we free ourselves from fear. Look at the trees in autumn. The leaves turn golden, then fall. Do the trees cry for their lost leaves? Do they resist the wind? No. They stand, knowing that spring will come again. They do not fear the cycle of change, they embrace it. In the same way, aging is not an end. It is a transformation. The body may weaken, but wisdom grows. The face may wrinkle, but understanding deepens. When we stop seeing aging as something to fight, we begin to see it as something to embrace. Think of an old monk sitting in stillness. His body is frail, his steps are slow, but his mind is clear, his heart is light. He does not mourn his youth. He does not long for the past. He is at peace because he knows that every stage of life has its purpose. Every moment is a gift. But most people do not see aging this way. They see it as a thief, taking away their beauty, their energy, their loved ones. And so they resist. They chase after youth, try to hold on to things that are slipping away. But the harder they hold, the more painful it becomes when those things inevitably leave. Imagine holding a handful of sand. If you squeeze your fist tight, trying to keep every grain, what happens? The sand slips through your fingers. But if you hold your hand open, gently, the sand rests there peacefully. This is how we must approach life. With an open hand, with an open heart. Loneliness often comes from this resistance. From the belief that we should always have people around us, that relationships should last forever. But Buddhism teaches that everything is borrowed. The people we love, the experiences we cherish, even our own bodies, they are all on loan from the universe. We do not own them. We simply experience them for a time. So when people leave, when life changes, we must not despair. We must simply bow to the moment and let it pass, knowing that everything comes and goes in its own time. Many people fear being alone in old age. They fear the silence, the emptiness. But is solitude truly something to fear? Or is it an opportunity? Think of the great sages, the wise ones who have walked this earth. They did not seek crowds. They did not surround themselves with noise. They found wisdom in stillness, in silence, in solitude. To be alone is not to be abandoned. It is to be given a chance, to look inward, to understand oneself, to see the truth without distraction. If we learn to be at peace with ourselves, we will never truly be lonely. The Buddha himself left behind the world of attachments. He did not cling to people, to possessions, to titles. He understood that true peace comes not from having, but from letting go. We age, and our lives change. But this is not a curse. It is a gift, a chance to see the world in a new way, a chance to understand what truly matters. Close your eyes for a moment. Breathe. Feel the present moment. This is where life is. Not in the past, not in the future. Right here, right now. Aging alone does not mean living without love. It does not mean a life of sadness. It means a life where love is not dependent on others, but is found within. It means learning to sit with oneself and feel complete. There is no need to fear impermanence. There is no need to resist change. Everything in this universe is flowing, moving, transforming. And when we stop fighting the current and start flowing with it, we find peace. In the next part of this journey, we will explore how to cultivate emotional resilience, how to build the inner strength that allows us to face solitude not with fear, but with wisdom. Because the truth is, aging alone is not the end of joy. It is the beginning of a deeper understanding of life itself. Emotional resilience, cultivating inner strength for solitude. Sit with me for a moment. Let the world slow down. Breathe in, breathe out. Do you feel that? That is life. Moving, changing, flowing like a river. And yet, we fear being alone. We fear the silence. We fear the emptiness. But tell me, is the silence truly empty? Or is it full of things we have never taken the time to notice? Many people believe that loneliness is suffering. They think that without companionship, without someone to share their days with, life loses its meaning. But I ask you, when a tree stands alone on a mountaintop, does it cry for company? When the wind moves through the open fields, does it feel abandoned? No, because they exist fully in the present. They do not compare their lives to others. They do not ask, why am I alone? They simply are. You have spent years depending on others for your happiness. You have looked for comfort in voices, in faces, in the presence of another. But now, you are alone. The house is quiet. The days stretch long. And you wonder, how will I bear this? Ah, my friend, this is where strength is born. Not in the noise, not in the company of others, but in the silence, in the stillness. When all distractions are gone, when there is no one left to comfort you, you must learn to comfort yourself. This is the path of true strength. Emotional resilience is not something you are born with. It is something you build, like a fire on a cold night. At first, the wood is damp. The flames flicker and threaten to die. But with patience, with care, the fire grows strong. It warms you. It protects you. It gives you light. The first step to emotional resilience is to stop resisting solitude. You cannot fight the waves of life. You cannot command the tide to stop. The more you fight, the more you will suffer. Instead, let go. Accept that this is where you are. Not tomorrow. Not yesterday. Now, sit with your loneliness. Feel it fully. Do not push it away. Do not drown it with noise or distractions. Let it be. Because, my friend, loneliness is a teacher. It shows you where you are weak. It reveals the parts of you that need healing. Do not run from it. Listen to it. Learn from it. Many people misunderstand strength. They think it means never feeling pain, never breaking, never showing weakness. But true strength is the ability to feel pain and not be destroyed by it. To feel sadness and not lose yourself in it. To sit in silence and not fear it. You must train your heart like a warrior trains his body. Every day, you must practice sitting with yourself. Every day, you must remind yourself, I am enough. Every day, you must build a home within your own soul, so that no matter where you are, no matter who leaves or stays, you are never truly lost. Think of the great mountains. They have stood for thousands of years, facing storms, winds, and the weight of time. Yet, they remain unmoved. They do not complain. They do not ask why the storms come. They simply endure. And in their endurance, they become unshakable. So, too, must you become unshakable. You must understand that your emotions will rise and fall, like waves on the ocean. Some days will be hard. Some nights will feel endless. But they will pass. Nothing stays forever. Not joy, not sorrow, not even loneliness. But you must learn to stand strong in all seasons of life. When you are happy, do not cling to happiness, for it will fade. When you are sad, do not curse your sadness, for it, too, will pass. Instead, remain steady. Breathe. Observe. Let each moment come and go, like leaves drifting on a river. You may ask, but Zen Master, how do I find peace when my heart aches for companionship? Ah, my dear one, do not seek peace outside of yourself. Do not search for it in another person's arms, in their words, in their presence. For all things outside of you will change. They will leave. They will fade. And if your peace depends on them, you will always be at their mercy. Instead, build your peace within. Learn to enjoy your own company. Walk alone in the morning and feel the breeze on your face. Sit with a warm cup of tea and listen to the sound of your own breath. Read, write, sing, dance. Not for an audience, not for approval, but for yourself. Do not wait for someone to fill your empty spaces. Fill them yourself, with wisdom, with kindness, with patience. Buddhism teaches us that attachment is the root of suffering. And what is loneliness if not attachment to the idea that we must have someone else to be happy? You do not need another person to complete you. You are already whole. You are already enough. When you understand this, truly understand it, a great weight will lift from your heart. You will no longer fear solitude. You will no longer feel empty when the house is quiet. Instead, you will find peace in your own presence. And, my dear one, when you reach this place of inner strength, something beautiful will happen. You will no longer seek love out of desperation. You will no longer cling to people because you fear being alone. Instead, you will love freely, without fear, without need. You will love because your heart is full, not because it is empty. This is emotional resilience. This is strength, not in resisting solitude, but in embracing it. Not in fearing loneliness, but in understanding it. Not in seeking others to fill you, but in realizing that you were never incomplete to begin with. So, the next time you feel the ache of loneliness, do not run from it. Do not fight it. Sit with it. Welcome it. Let it teach you. And in time, you will see, it was never your enemy. It was your greatest teacher all along. Breathe in. Breathe out. You are strong. You are whole. You are enough. Breaking the illusion of attachment. How Buddhism teaches us to let go. Sit with me for a moment. Breathe in. Breathe out. Let go of everything you are holding on to, just for now. The world will not fall apart if you loosen your grip. The people, the memories, the stories you have carried for so long, they do not define you. But I know, it is not easy to let go. It feels like releasing a part of yourself, as if without these attachments, you will be nothing. This is the illusion we must break. From the moment we are born, we start to cling. We cling to our parents, to comfort, to warmth. As we grow, we attach ourselves to friends, to love, to status, to dreams. We build identities out of these attachments, believing that without them, we will be lost. But what happens when time, as it always does, begins to take them away? People leave, things change, dreams fade, and the pain of loss becomes unbearable. Think of a leaf clinging to a tree. In the summer, it is full of life, basking in the sun, dancing in the wind. But autumn comes, and the leaf refuses to let go. It holds on tightly, afraid of the fall, afraid of what awaits below. It dries up, turns brittle, and suffers in its resistance. But the leaf that surrenders to the wind, that lets go when the time is right, does not suffer. It floats freely, knowing that it was never meant to stay in one place forever. We are like that leaf. Life moves forward, whether we hold on or not. And yet, we resist. We grip tightly to relationships, even when they bring us pain. We refuse to accept change, even when it is inevitable. We live in the past, hoping it will return, instead of embracing the present moment. This is why we suffer. Buddha once said, attachment is the root of all suffering. These are not just words. This is a truth we experience every day. When we love someone, we fear losing them. When we have wealth, we fear poverty. When we are happy, we fear sadness creeping back in. Every attachment comes with the shadow of loss. But what if we could love without fear? What if we could enjoy without clinging? Let me tell you a story. A man once came to a Zen master, his face full of sorrow. "Master," he said, "I have lost everything. My business failed. My family no longer speaks to me. My heart is heavy with regret." The master smiled and handed the man a cup. He poured tea into the cup until it overflowed, spilling onto the table. "Master," the man gasped, "the cup is full." The master nodded. "Like this cup, your heart is full of attachments. There is no room for peace. Let go, and you will find space for something new." The man did not understand right away. Most of us don't. We believe that letting go means losing something. But in truth, letting go is gaining freedom. When we stop holding on to what no longer serves us, we make room for what is meant to come. Think about the things you fear losing the most. A relationship, a home, your health, your youth. Imagine, for a moment, that they are already gone. What remains? You, still breathing, still here. The loss you fear has no power over you unless you let it. The fear of losing is worse than the loss itself. Aging alone is one of the greatest fears of attachment. We believe that without family, without friends, without someone to sit beside us in old age, we will be nothing. But this is a lie we have told ourselves. Being alone does not mean being empty. In fact, solitude can be the purest form of freedom. Buddhism teaches us that everything is temporary. The love you feel, the pain you carry, the memories you cherish, they are like clouds drifting across the sky. You cannot hold on to them forever, but you can appreciate them as they pass. You can watch them, feel them, and then let them go without suffering. What if you could live your life like the river, flowing effortlessly, never clinging to the rocks, never fearing the next bend? What if you could love without expecting anything in return? What if you could wake up each day with no attachment to the past, no fear of the future? This is true peace. You do not have to become a monk or renounce the world to practice detachment. You simply have to shift your perspective. When you drink tea, enjoy the warmth, but do not mourn when the cup is empty. When you watch the sunset, let its beauty fill you, but do not despair when night falls. When you love someone, give them your heart fully, but do not chain them to your expectations. It is not people or things that bring us pain, it is our attachment to them, the belief that we cannot be happy without them. But happiness does not come from possession. It comes from presence, from being here, in this moment, without clinging, without resisting. Close your eyes. Imagine yourself in old age, sitting alone in a quiet room. No one knocking on the door, no phone ringing, just you. In the past, this image may have filled you with fear. But now, see it differently. See it as freedom. No obligations, no expectations, no attachments pulling at your soul. Just peace. Just you in the present moment. Let go, and you will see, there is nothing to fear. The power of mindfulness, finding peace in solitude. Sit with me for a moment. Just breathe. Feel the air entering your lungs, filling you with life. Feel it leaving, taking with it everything that no longer serves you. This moment is all there is. The past is gone, the future has not arrived, and in this stillness, you are complete. Many people fear being alone. They think solitude is emptiness, a hollow space where sadness grows. But this is only because their minds are never truly here. They are trapped in thoughts of yesterday or worries about tomorrow. Their hearts are always searching for something, someone to talk to, something to do, some distraction to fill the silence. They run from loneliness, not realizing that peace is waiting for them right where they are. What is mindfulness? It is not a complicated idea. It is simply the practice of being present, to be fully here, in this moment, without judgment, without resistance. To see, to feel, to experience life as it is. Not as we wish it to be, not as we fear it will become, but as it is, right now. Imagine a lake. When the wind is strong, the water is disturbed, filled with ripples and waves. You cannot see beneath the surface. But when the wind stops, the water becomes still, clear. You can see all the way to the bottom. This is the mind in mindfulness. A mind always chasing after thoughts is like the restless lake, unclear, unsettled. But a mind that is present, that is quiet and aware, becomes like the still water. It sees the truth. It is at peace. You may say, but I cannot stop my thoughts. They come and go like the wind. That is true. But mindfulness is not about stopping thoughts. It is about watching them, without getting caught in them. Imagine sitting by a river, watching the water flow. The thoughts are the river, always moving, always changing. You do not have to jump in and be carried away. You can sit on the bank and watch. Aging alone is not suffering. Suffering comes from how we see it. If you believe solitude is a prison, then every moment alone will feel like punishment. But if you see solitude as space, space to breathe, to think, to grow, then it becomes a gift. A chance to finally meet yourself, without distraction, without noise. Many people say, I cannot be happy alone. But have they ever truly tried? Have they ever sat in silence, without a phone, without a screen, without a plan? Have they ever allowed themselves to just be? Or have they only filled their time with distractions, never giving themselves a chance to experience their own presence? Loneliness is not about being alone. It is about being disconnected from yourself, from life, from the present moment. Mindfulness reconnects you. It brings you back to what is real. Try this. The next time you drink a cup of tea or coffee, do not rush through it. Do not drink while thinking about work or checking messages or planning your day. Just drink. Feel the warmth of the cup in your hands. Notice the steam rising. Take a sip and truly taste it. Experience it fully, as if nothing else in the world exists at that moment. This is mindfulness. This is peace. Now, imagine if you lived every moment like this. Not lost in thought, not trapped in worry, but fully awake to the experience of life. Every step you take, every breath, every sound, every sight, seen, heard, and felt with full awareness. Life would no longer feel empty. It would be rich, deep, alive. Aging alone does not mean aging in sadness. It means aging with awareness. Instead of fearing the silence, you learn to listen to it. Instead of feeling lonely, you feel connected to the air, to the light, to the simple beauty of the world around you. Buddha once said, peace comes from within. Do not seek it without. This is the secret. You do not need others to feel whole. You do not need noise to feel alive. Everything you seek is already here, within you. You only need to slow down, to breathe, to be present, and you will see. Some people spend their whole lives running, chasing relationships, chasing success, chasing happiness. They never stop, never rest, never truly live. But in the end, they realize too late that happiness was never somewhere else. It was always in this moment, waiting to be noticed. You are not alone. You are with yourself. And if you learn to be mindful, to be present, you will find that this is enough. More than enough. This is freedom. This is peace. Close your eyes for a moment. Breathe in. Feel the air enter your body, filling you with life. Breathe out. Let go of everything that does not belong in this moment. You are here. You are alive. And that is all that matters. Self-reliance versus interdependence, striking a balance. Sit down. Take a deep breath. Let go of the noise in your mind. Listen, not just with your ears, but with your heart. This is an important lesson. Life is like a river, always flowing, always changing. When we are young, we swim with others. Family, friends, lovers, they are the currents that carry us. We feel safe in their presence, protected by the warmth of belonging. But as time passes, the currents shift. People move away. Loved ones grow old. Some disappear forever. One day, you find yourself standing alone by the riverbank, watching the water flow without you. What happens then? Do you fight against the current, trying to hold on to what is already gone? Or do you learn to stand on your own, accepting that the river was never meant to be controlled? Aging alone brings a deep question to the surface. Should I rely only on myself, or do I still need others? The world often tells us to be independent. You don't need anyone, they say. Be strong, be self-sufficient. But Buddhism teaches us something different. It reminds us that we are never truly alone. Every breath we take, every step we walk, every meal we eat, it is all connected to something greater than ourselves. The hands that built our home, the farmer who grew our food, the teacher who once guided us, all of them live within us. We are part of a vast, unseen web of existence. But does this mean we should depend on others completely? No, because attachment leads to suffering. If you believe that your happiness depends on someone else, you will always live in fear. Fear of losing them, fear of being abandoned, fear of facing the world on your own. So where's the balance? How do we walk the middle path between self-reliance and interdependence? First, understand this. Strength is not about isolation. It is about knowing when to stand alone and when to lean on others. The tree grows strong because its roots go deep into the earth, but it also reaches toward the sky, embracing the sun, the rain, the wind. Without the earth, it would fall. Without the sky, it would wither. Aging alone does not mean cutting yourself off from the world. It means knowing that while others may walk beside you, the path is yours to walk. You must take each step with awareness, neither clinging to others for security nor rejecting them out of pride. Buddhism teaches that true independence is not about doing everything alone. It is about knowing that you are complete, with or without anyone else. This is the key to balance. Think of the monk who lives in solitude. He does not rely on family, friends, or society for his happiness. Yet, every morning, he walks to the village, receiving alms from the people. He does not demand food, nor does he feel ashamed to accept it. He gives them his wisdom, his prayers, his presence. They give him nourishment. There is no attachment, only a natural flow of giving and receiving. This is balance. But in today's world, we struggle with this. Some people fear being alone so much that they cling to relationships, even when they bring pain. Others push people away, afraid to be vulnerable. Both paths lead to suffering. If you rely too much on others, you will always live in fear of losing them. If you refuse to accept help, you will exhaust yourself trying to carry the weight of the world alone. Neither extreme brings peace. So how do we live with wisdom? Start by strengthening yourself first. Not just your body, but your mind and heart. Learn to sit in silence without restlessness. Learn to enjoy your own company. Do not seek distractions to fill the emptiness. Face it, understand it, transform it. When you know how to be at peace alone, you will no longer fear solitude. You will not chase relationships out of loneliness, nor will you reject them out of pride. You will connect with others from a place of fullness, not desperation. And when people enter your life, welcome them with an open heart. When they leave, let them go with gratitude. No clinging, no resentment, just acceptance. This is the middle path. The world is unpredictable. You may lose your family, your friends, your wealth, even your health. But if you cultivate inner strength, nothing can truly shake you. At the same time, remember that life is not meant to be lived in isolation. A smile shared with a stranger, a kind word exchanged in passing, a moment of understanding between two souls. These are the invisible threads that connect us all. If you are aging alone, do not think of it as a punishment. Think of it as an opportunity. An opportunity to know yourself deeply, to free yourself from dependence, and to move through life with grace. A person who has found peace and solitude is the freest person in the world. They do not beg for love, nor do they fear losing it. They do not reject companionship, nor do they seek it desperately. They simply live, moment by moment, embracing whatever comes and releasing whatever goes. You do not have to choose between self-reliance and interdependence. You can have both. You can be strong and still allow others to support you. You can walk alone and still share your journey. Do not fear the silence. Do not fear the empty spaces. They are not empty at all. They are filled with the wisdom of 1,000 lifetimes, waiting for you to listen. So sit, breathe, let go, and walk forward, not with fear, but with peace. The role of compassion and service in aging alone. Sit with me for a moment. Breathe in, breathe out. Feel the stillness around you. Now, imagine a life where you walk this path alone, not because you were abandoned, not because the world forgot you, but because life flows like a river, always moving, always changing. People come, people go. But in this solitude, there is something waiting for you, something greater than you ever imagined. Aging alone does not mean living in isolation. It does not mean fading away into silence. No, my dear one, it is an invitation. An invitation to serve, to give, to connect in a way that is deeper than just having people around. You see, when we are young, we seek love, friendship, validation. We want to be seen, to be understood. But as we grow older, we begin to realize something profound. The deepest fulfillment does not come from taking, it comes from giving. There is a saying in Zen, the candle loses nothing by lighting another candle. When you give warmth to another, your own light does not dim. In fact, it shines even brighter. This is the secret of a meaningful life: service, compassion, the act of reaching beyond yourself. Aging alone does not mean your life is empty. It means you now have the space to fill others' lives with kindness. Have you ever noticed how, when you help someone, even in the smallest way, your heart feels lighter? A simple smile to a stranger, a kind word to someone struggling, a moment of listening to someone who feels unheard. These are not small things. These are the very threads that weave the fabric of a life well lived. In Buddhism, we speak of metta, loving kindness. It is not just love for those close to you. It is love without conditions. Love that flows outward, touching all beings. When you practice this, loneliness fades. Not because you suddenly have a crowd around you, but because you realize you are never truly alone. When you open your heart to others, the universe responds. But many people hesitate. What can I give, they ask. I have nothing. Oh, but you do. You have your time. You have your wisdom. You have your presence. There is someone out there who needs exactly what you can offer. Perhaps a younger person who is lost, seeking guidance. Perhaps a neighbor who has no one to talk to. Perhaps an old friend you have not spoken to in years, waiting for a call that never comes. You may think, but I need help myself. Yes, and do you know the most powerful way to heal? To help others heal. The moment you step outside of your own suffering and into the act of giving, something shifts inside you. The weight you carry becomes lighter. Your burdens no longer feel so heavy. Aging alone is not a curse. It is an opportunity to practice the greatest teaching of all, compassion. The Buddha himself lived much of his later life alone, wandering, sharing wisdom, offering his presence. He did not seek comfort in attachments. He found fulfillment in being of service. There is an old Zen story of a man who came to a master and said, "Master, I am lonely. I feel invisible in this world." The master handed him a small lamp and said, "Go, light the way for others." The man did not understand at first, but he followed the master's words. He started helping where he could, offering food to the hungry, listening to the stories of the elderly, simply being present for those in need. And slowly, something miraculous happened. His loneliness disappeared. His life, once empty, was now full. This is the way. The more you give, the more you receive, not in material wealth, but in richness of the heart. Aging alone does not mean you have no one. It means you now have the freedom to choose how you connect. It means your love is no longer bound by expectations. You do not need to wait for family to call, for friends to visit. You can step forward and be the one who brings light. You see, there are two ways to live. You can sit in a room and count the days, feeling forgotten. Or you can step outside, even if just for a moment, and touch someone's life. It can be as simple as volunteering at a local shelter, mentoring a young person, or even just sharing a kind word with a stranger. It does not take much, but the effect is profound. In the end, what truly matters is not how many people surround you, but how much love flows through you. Do not wait for connection to come to you. Be the one who creates it. Be the one who gives. Because when you give, you are never alone. Breathe in, breathe out. You are exactly where you need to be. Detachment from fear, overcoming anxiety about the future. Sit with me for a moment. Breathe in, breathe out. Let everything settle. Now, tell me, what do you fear the most about aging alone? Is it the silence? The emptiness of a house that was once filled with laughter? Or is it the uncertainty, the thought that one day you may need help, but no one will be there? Fear is a strange thing. It is not real, yet it feels more real than anything else. It is not happening, yet it takes over our minds as if it already has. You wake up at night thinking about it. You play out terrible scenarios in your head. You feel the weight of the future pressing down on you, even though the future has not yet arrived. Buddhism teaches us something simple but profound. Suffering comes not from what is, but from what we think about what is. The fear of aging alone is not because of solitude itself. It is because of our thoughts about solitude. The mind creates images of suffering, helplessness, and sadness, and we believe them. But are they true? Or are they just stories we tell ourselves? When you hold on to fear, you give it power. You allow it to control your actions, your emotions, and your entire life. You spend years worrying about a future that may never happen. You hold on to the idea that loneliness is suffering, that being alone is something to fear. But I ask you, have you ever actually sat with solitude? Have you ever truly embraced it, without resistance? Aging alone is not the problem. The problem is your attachment to how you think life should be. You have spent your life surrounded by people, friends, family, lovers, companions. You have built an identity around your relationships. You have found comfort in being needed, in being wanted, in being part of something bigger than yourself. But now, the world is changing. People move on. Life flows in a different direction. And you resist. Resistance is suffering. When you resist the natural flow of life, you create pain for yourself. When you cling to the past, you feel loss. When you fear the future, you feel anxiety. But what if you let go? What if you surrendered to the reality of life, just as it is? What if, instead of fearing solitude, you stepped into it fully, with open arms? There is a story in Zen Buddhism. A student once came to the master and said, "Master, I am afraid of being alone." The master took him to a quiet place, far from the village. He said, "Sit here." The student sat. Minutes passed, then hours. The master did not return. The student grew restless. He looked around, hoping to see someone, anyone, but there was only silence. As night fell, the student became afraid. The darkness pressed in. The sounds of the wind and the distant calls of animals made him uneasy. He felt small. He felt abandoned. He felt lost. But as the hours passed, something changed. The fear did not grow, it faded. The silence became a friend. The night became peaceful. He was alone, but he was not lonely. He was simply there. When the master returned the next morning, the student said, "I understand now. My fear was never about being alone. It was about my mind fighting against it." You see, the mind is the cause of all suffering. If you tell yourself that aging alone is a tragedy, you will believe it. If you tell yourself that solitude is peace, you will believe that too. The question is, which story do you want to believe? Detach from fear. Do not let it dictate your life. The future is unknown, yes, but was it ever known? Even when you were young, could you predict where life would take you? No. Life is always uncertain, always changing. The difference is that when you were younger, you trusted the flow of life. Now, you resist it. You fear that no one will be there for you. But have you ever been truly there for yourself? Have you ever sat with yourself, without distraction, without the need for others to fill the space? Look around. The trees stand alone, yet they grow strong. The river flows alone, yet it reaches the ocean. The mountain stands alone, yet it touches the sky. Solitude is not suffering. It is only suffering when you see it as emptiness. But what if solitude is fullness? What if, instead of something missing, it is something complete? In Zen, we say, let go, or be dragged. If you hold on to fear, it will pull you under like a heavy stone in deep water. But if you release it, you will float. You will move with life, not against it. Think about your fears. Write them down. Look at them. And then ask yourself, are they real? Or are they just thoughts? If they are just thoughts, can you let them go? Aging alone is not a punishment. It is an opportunity. It is a time to finally meet yourself, without distractions, without obligations, without the noise of the world. It is a time to explore the depths of your own being, to discover what lies beneath the surface of your busy mind. Meditate, breathe, walk in silence, learn to enjoy your own company. When you do, you will see that there is nothing to fear. The future is not something to worry about. It is something to experience, moment by moment, just as it comes. Detachment does not mean you stop feeling. It means you stop fearing. You stop resisting. You stop clinging. You live, truly live. So, I ask you again, what do you fear? And is that fear worth carrying for the rest of your life? Or can you put it down, right here, right now? Transforming loneliness into liberation. Sit with me for a moment. Take a deep breath. Feel the air entering your lungs, filling you with life. Now exhale. Let go of everything for just this moment. The worries, the thoughts, the regrets. Let them drift away like leaves on a quiet stream. Loneliness is something we all face. It comes in the silent hours of the night, in the spaces between conversations, in the moments when we reach out and find no hand to hold. It can be heavy, like a storm cloud hanging over the heart. But I tell you, loneliness is not your enemy. It is your greatest teacher. For most of your life, you have been surrounded by noise. The voices of family, friends, colleagues. The constant movement of life pulling you from one task to another, never giving you a moment to just be. And then, one day, the noise begins to fade. The voices become fewer. The invitations stop. The world does not wait. It moves forward, whether we are ready or not. At first, this silence feels unnatural. It feels like something is missing. But I ask you, what if nothing is missing? What if you have simply arrived at the place you were always meant to be? The world has taught you that being alone is something to fear, that to be without company is to be incomplete. But I tell you, this is an illusion. The greatest wisdom is found in solitude. The deepest peace is discovered in the quiet. Look at the trees standing alone on a mountain. They do not complain of loneliness. They grow, they bend with the wind, they reach toward the sky, and they find strength in simply being. You, too, can stand strong in your solitude. Think of a candle. It does not need another flame to burn brightly. It shines on its own, filling the darkness with light. You are that candle. You do not need the presence of others to give meaning to your life. You do not need validation to know you are worthy. But the mind is tricky. It whispers to you, you are alone. This is bad. This is painful. The mind clings to the past, to old relationships, to what once was. And in this clinging, suffering is born. Buddhism teaches us that suffering comes not from being alone, but from resisting what is. Loneliness is not the problem. Our attachment to the idea that we should never be lonely is the problem. If you let go of that attachment, loneliness transforms. It becomes space. A vast, open space where you can meet yourself fully. Where you can listen to your own heart without the distraction of the world. Where you can learn to be at peace with your own company. In solitude, you can hear the truth that has always been there. You are not just this body. You are not just this mind. You are something vast, something infinite, something that cannot be confined by relationships or status or age. So I ask you, who are you when no one is watching? When no one is calling? When the world is quiet? Can you sit with yourself and feel complete? Some fear solitude because they do not know themselves. They have spent a lifetime defining themselves through others. I am a father, a mother, a friend, a lover, a worker. But who are you without those labels? Who are you when all of that is stripped away? This is the greatest gift of being alone, the chance to meet yourself. Not as others see you, not as the world has told you to be, but as you truly are. The monks who sit in silence for years, the sages who wander alone in the mountains, they are not suffering. They have found something that many fear to seek, freedom. The freedom of knowing that happiness is not given to us by others. It is found within. But let me tell you a secret. This is not about isolation. This is not about rejecting the world. This is about no longer fearing solitude. When you no longer fear it, you can engage with the world in a new way. You can love without attachment. You can connect without clinging. You can enjoy company without needing it. Most people enter relationships from a place of fear. They fear being alone, so they hold on to others tightly. But love that comes from fear is not love, it is possession. And possession always leads to suffering. When you find peace in solitude, you are free to love in a way that is pure. You do not love because you need. You love because you choose to. And this kind of love is light. It does not weigh you down. It does not bind you. So the next time loneliness visits you, do not turn away. Do not try to fill the emptiness with distractions. Sit with it. Listen to it. Let it teach you. It is not here to harm you. It is here to free you. Walk outside in the early morning, when the world is still. Feel the wind on your skin. Listen to the sound of your own breath. In this moment, you are complete. In this moment, nothing is missing. You were never truly alone, because the universe has always been with you. The sky, the trees, the earth beneath your feet. And most importantly, you have yourself. And that, my friend, is enough. The journey inward, discovering who you truly are in solitude. Sit with me for a moment. Breathe in, breathe out. Feel the air moving through you. This moment is real. This moment is all there is. Now, close your eyes and imagine a river. It flows endlessly, not asking where it is going, not fearing what lies ahead. It simply moves, because that is its nature. No river resists its journey, yet we, as humans, resist ours. Especially when we find ourselves alone. You have spent your life looking outward, seeking love, approval, companionship, trying to fill the spaces within you with people, experiences, distractions. But now, the noise has faded, the crowd has dispersed, and you are left with yourself. What does that feel like? For many, it is terrifying. The silence becomes too loud, the stillness too heavy. But do you know why? It is not because solitude is painful. It is because you have spent so long avoiding yourself that you have forgotten how to sit in your own presence. Buddhism teaches us that everything we seek is already within us. Yet, we spend our lives running in circles, believing that happiness exists somewhere outside. A perfect partner, a devoted family, a group of lifelong friends. These are beautiful things, but they are not permanent. And when they fade, as all things do, we feel lost. But here is a secret. You are not lost. You have simply never stopped long enough to meet yourself. Now is the time. Look within. Who are you when no one is watching? Who are you when there is no one left to impress, no one left to love, no one left to rely on? At first, this question may feel unsettling, but sit with it. Breathe. You are not alone. You are with yourself. And that is enough. In the quiet, in the solitude, something incredible happens. You begin to see yourself as you truly are, not as a collection of roles and relationships, but as something deeper, something vast, something free. This is where the real journey begins. You see, aging alone is not a curse. It is an invitation to finally step off the path of endless seeking and turn inward, to become your own friend, to listen to your own thoughts, without judgment, to understand yourself, not as a person waiting to be loved, but as a being that is already whole. For many, this realization does not come easily. The mind resists. It tells you stories of regret, of what-ifs, of missed opportunities. It whispers that you are alone because something went wrong, because you failed in some way. Do not believe this voice. It is only fear, disguising itself as truth. There is no failure in being alone. In fact, some of the wisest beings who have ever lived sought solitude on purpose. Buddha himself left behind the world of attachments to sit in silence beneath the Bodhi tree. And what did he find? Not loneliness, but enlightenment. You do not need to become a monk. You do not need to give up everything and retreat into the mountains. But you do need to shift your mind. Instead of seeing solitude as emptiness, see it as space. Space to grow, to reflect, to heal. Many people spend their whole lives avoiding themselves. They surround themselves with noise, with people, with distractions, because they fear what they might find if they stop. But you have the opportunity to do what so few dare to do. You can turn inward, and when you do, you will find something remarkable. You will find peace. Not the kind of peace that comes from a quiet room, but the peace that comes from knowing you are complete, just as you are. The peace that comes from understanding that you do not need to be needed to have value. The peace that comes from realizing that your existence is enough. Do not resist the silence. Embrace it. In the stillness, you will hear the truth that has always been there. The truth that says, you are not alone. You are with yourself. And that is the greatest companionship of all. Aging alone is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of something deeper. You are not here to mourn what has been lost. You are here to discover what has always been waiting for you. Yourself. So sit. Breathe. Let go of the fear. Step into the solitude, not with sadness, but with curiosity. The greatest journey you will ever take is the one inward. And the time to begin is now. Conclusion. Embracing aging alone as a path to enlightenment. Sit down. Take a deep breath. Feel the air move in and out of your body. For a moment, let go of everything. Let go of your name, your age, your past, and your future. Just be here, right now, in this moment, because this moment is all there is. You have walked this journey with me. You have listened, reflected, and perhaps questioned your own fears, your own loneliness, your own understanding of what it means to grow old alone. But now, we stand at the end of this path. And yet, there is no end, only another beginning. What have we learned? We have learned that aging alone is not a curse, but a transformation. It is not the absence of love, but the opportunity to discover a love that does not depend on anyone else. It is not the loss of connection, but the chance to connect with something far greater than the fleeting relationships of this world. The fear of aging alone is a fear created by the mind. The mind clings to the past, to old friendships, to lost love, to the idea that happiness only exists in the presence of others. But what if I told you that happiness does not live in another person? It does not live in a crowded room or a busy street. It does not live in the voice of a loved one calling your name. Happiness lives only where you are willing to see it. Close your eyes and imagine yourself in a small, quiet home. There are no visitors. No one calls. No one knocks on the door. The silence is complete. In this moment, do you feel fear? Or do you feel peace? The answer is not in the silence itself. It is in you. It is in how you choose to see it. Aging alone is a test. Not a test of survival, but a test of wisdom. Can you sit with yourself and not run away? Can you wake up in the morning and smile, even when no one is there to see it? Can you enjoy a meal, a walk, a simple moment, without needing anyone else to validate it? In the teachings of the Buddha, there is a simple truth. Everything is impermanent. People come and go. Love rises and fades. Youth blossoms and withers. If you build your happiness on things that change, then your happiness will always be fragile. But if you build your happiness on something unchanging, on the deep, quiet awareness within you, then nothing in this world can take it away. Many people fear being forgotten. They fear that when they grow old and alone, the world will pass them by. But tell me, what is this self that you are so afraid will be forgotten? The body? The name? The story? These things are like a river, always moving, always changing. You are not this body. You are not this name. You are not even your past. You are the awareness behind all of it. And awareness does not age. It does not disappear. It simply is. Do not grieve for the friendships that have faded, the family that has moved on, the lovers that are no longer by your side. They were never meant to stay. They were only visitors. Just as you, too, are only a visitor in this world. Instead of clinging to what is gone, bow to it. Be grateful. Let it go. Many people ask, what is the purpose of life if I am to be alone? The purpose of life is to wake up, to see reality as it is, not as you wish it to be, to understand that everything you need is already within you. Companionship, love, security, these are beautiful gifts, but they are not the source of peace. The source of peace is in knowing that you are already whole. Some may say, but Zen Master, what if I feel lonely? Then feel lonely. Do not resist it. Sit with it. Observe it. And then ask yourself, who is it that feels lonely? Watch the feeling. It comes and it goes, just like the wind through the trees. If you do not cling to it, it has no power over you. When you stop searching for something outside of yourself to complete you, you will realize that you were never incomplete. You were never missing anything. The loneliness you feared was never real. It was only the mind playing tricks on you. Imagine an old monk sitting on a mountain. He has no family,